All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is At the 50 with Fuji and Fleet. That is Mike Fuji on the right. And down at the bottom there, former Philadelphia Eagles defensive tackle Hollis, Tank Thomas. How you doing, guys?
Pretty good. How you doing?
How you doing, Hollis? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I know this has been a long time in the making. Did I do it once before?
You did it with me once before.
Yeah,
You've been on my
okay.
show.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
That was Inside Sports from the driver's seat.
Okay, yeah. How was that doing it from the driver's seat? You know,
it was good. It was very good. I still do some of it. I haven't been as busy as I was back then because I was just getting started, but I really got 3 shows going on. Because I have a regular one called the Al Norfleet Show. That's about my photography and different modeling things of that nature.
Oh, okay.
And I was on Mike's show about a month ago, and he has to do this. And so that's how we got at the 50.
Oh, cool.
As they say, the rest is history.
Yes. All right, Hollis. Like I had put out the other day, I said he's a man to tell it like it is. And so we're going to start with you. I'm going to address the elephant in the room.
What's the elephant in the room?
Is Nick Sirianni a lame duck coach?
No.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Yes.
A lot of people said this, was asking about this, but if you know the makeup of the Philadelphia Eagles, and they kind of want a sort of a guy who's on their same page, and some people call that a yes man. And when and I don't know if you remember when Doug was here.
Yeah.
Doug went in there to fight for his coaches. That's the only reason Doug got fired.
Right.
So they were not on the same page. If you're not on the same page with them, it's a great coaching start because they actually this year I feel like they gave him enough in the tool shed, and they gave him some quality coordinators. Another reason he didn't get fired was because I think that the upper echelon thought that they were going to catch lightning in a bottle again by hiring 2 first-time coordinators who didn't know diddly poo. Thanks, Jim Moore, who didn't know diddly poo.
Right.
And then once our roster was talented enough for us to win 10, 11 games, and that's what we saw. But once I don't know if I ever told you this, Al or Mike, is once the NFL gets you on tape and see what somebody finds a formula to beat you eventually.
Right.
And once that formula is on tape and they notice that you're not doing anything to counter it or stop it, your ass is grass.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw last year. I'm not going to say it was rumblings. Talking to some of the guys, it was just like they were not listening to the players and what they were saying. Opposing teams are calling out your plays. Opposing teams are knowing what you're going to do. And the fact that Nick Sirianni knew that he needed to make a change at both coordinator positions. That's what not so much saved his job. That's what kept his job.
Right,
because if you, it's kind of like if you have a driver. If you say you have a driver and they keep messing up, they constantly keep messing up. But you go in there and go to the bathroom, both of y'all ass is gone.
Yeah.
because you don't see what everybody else is seeing, and the fact that he sees what everybody else is seeing, and that pretty much kept him a job. I think he's a pretty decent leader, as you can see back here. My sunflower days. My I got my I do the sunflower because a lot of people ask me the question about the sunflower. Well, when he said what he said about planting the seed and letting it blossom and grow, they've been pretty much kicking ass since he said that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and why would you fire a coach that's done nothing but take you to a Super Bowl and get 10, 11 wins in an early playoff house in the next season?
Right.
It looked pretty bad. It looked pretty bad at the end of the season, and he tried to step in. I feel like it was too late. I feel like if you were going to make Matt Patricia the defense coordinator, you should have done it at the beginning.
Right.
The other guy has never called plays. Decide. I thought he was a Vic Fangio disciple. Well, now we got Vic Fangio. Now we got Vic Fangio. We had a couple of his cousins coaching our defense, and now we got the real thing. So my thing to this is you got the coaches. Now it's up to Nick Sirianni to be able to put us in the right position. Overall as a team, get the team in the proper mindset, because now he doesn't have to worry about having weirdos defensive and offensive coordinators.
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
House, all this stuff coming out, Jalen Hurts taking all this criticism, a couple weeks ago. Do you think there's a strained relationship with Nick Sirianni?
No, I think and I told Irvin about this show on Vetted. We'll be taking it to Roku pretty soon. We have a launch party July the 9th. Shameless plug. When I saw this, I tell Irvin all the time, all it is for clickbait, man. Everybody's just saying, he's not saying nothing. I was like, because he ain't got to say nothing. He doesn't have to say anything. I was like, what do you want him to say? That you want to see them skipping down the street, holding hands, eating ice cream? This football. This is everybody's in mamby-pamby land. They think they got to see them hugging and embracing each other and singing each other's praise. I know the one thing that I know that both those guys want is to get last year's taste of getting your ass handed to you down the stretch. You came out strong. You started strong, and then down the stretch you faltered. Nobody likes that. So
not at all.
And then on top of that, you listen to what the receiver said about the new offense. It's like it's like the worst thing in the world. And I'm a glutton for punishment. I went to the Tampa Bay game, the playoff game. I don't know what the hell I was doing that for. But at the beginning, I watched that thing that they call the defense get ran through like a Swiss cheese. But then our offense come out, and I was at the very first Tampa Bay game, and I watched our offense run through them, run the ball down their throat. The very first play of the game, they go to spread. What the hell for? You still got DeAndre Swift back there. Turn around and hand him the ball and let him do work. And then when you go spread, what did you see the opposing defense do? Everybody lined up. They ran gap 8, man protection gap 8, and just ran everybody at you. And he was trying, and Jalen was trying to pump fake to make them slow down and think that they had a side adjust or a hot route. We didn't have none of that, man. And then they went through all. If you look at the last 6 games of the season, they max blitzed us, and it just lets you know they didn't even care. They max blitzed us and set on deep routes. We didn't have any underneath routes. And if I see another damn wide receiver screen, I was gonna lose my mind. And I'm glad we got rid of the project that we was calling Quez Watkins.
Right.
It's like I don't know which other way to say it, but as far as everybody was talking about my boy Jalen, I was like, oh, you were just talking about how cerebral he was, and now it's a problem that he doesn't give you something to talk about.
Exactly.
It's like you have people just trying to poke a bear or something, or just poke around and try to find a chink in the armor. And I think we a lot of times. And Herb, don't get me wrong, I'll be cracking up because I used to fall for that crap. Like you seems like it'd be like, what about this trade? This trade is about to happen, and it's clickbait. It's what if this trade is good? What if this happens? It's things that are never going to happen, and they do it using this clickbait because they don't have anything to talk about. Especially, and the other part too, Mike, is to finish off the question you had was, and this is a question for both of y'all too that I'm about to like. To me, this has been the best offseason and draft that we've had. We don't, and I say that because we actually addressed the damn linebacker. I was like, in the past we've got DBs and we've got linemen, but we had and run back the receivers, but we had yet to get a damn linebacker. And we addressed it in free agency. We get by getting Devin White, who I think is got that 1-year mercenary contract because he want to show that he's worth the money to pay. Not only that, and then you get Young Trot, and you get Jax from Houston. You just like loaded up on a bunch of guys who Vic Fangio can use to his advantage.
Right. Now, speaking of Young Trot. What do you think about? I mean, I watched him several years in college,
right?
And to me, I think he played much better than being in the fifth round pick.
Well, you got to look at the way the draft falls. It's like nobody. It's like and I think he's going to use that as fuel for his fire too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the draft. That's why it's like if you're like one of those guys that are on the cusp of being a third or fourth rounder, second, third or fourth rounder, you don't go to the draft because you don't know how the draft is going to unfold. You don't know how many. Did you think that we was going to get the top 2 corners in the draft?
No, absolutely not.
Not at all.
And not only that, we got the I don't think we call it a Swiss Army knife no more because they're taking the knife away from the Swiss Army thing. And getting Shipley where we got him. I was like, and then man, it's like and then not only that, you go out in free agency. Not only do you solidify and sign both of our receivers, lock them up and make them both happy, you go and get Devin White. Then you bring CJ back to lock up that secondary. So we're not worried about what transpires across the middle now. We're not worried about unsure tacklers anymore. And then go ahead. I got a question for you guys too.
No, I was going to say, CJ Garner-Johnson, he should have never walked last year anyway.
Yeah, but I think he wanted more money than Wetschkaller. And I think the same thing happened to him in the draft. Some off the field stuff kind of made a lot of teams hesitate, and so he just wanted to go away, but he didn't burn the bridge here. So he's back. He's back. The question I have for you
deal.
Now the question I have for you guys was, what do you think about them moving Bradbury to safety?
I don't see him being here because I just think there's so much talent. This team has more depth in that secondary than they had probably in the last 20 years. I mean, first time since 2002 they drafted back-to-back D-backs, going back to Lido and Sheldon.
Yeah,
I mean.
There was a predecessor to Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent.
Yeah.
And not only that, and Al Harris.
Yeah,
And then you can't forget that they also in that draft they brought in the undrafted free agent Roger Hood.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like
Quentin Hart too.
Yeah, Quentin Michael.
Quentin Michael.
Quentin Michael and Clinton Hart. Clinton Hart, I used to call him Wayne Wonder.
Right.
But you look at also too. I was saying the same thing. I said that they want to move him to safety, and I was talking about this with a few people about a moving because you had to move him to safety because what transpired in the Seattle game. I was at the Seattle game when Drew Lock picked on him the entire and he was and Drew Lock was 1 of 6 versus any other DB except for Bradbury. And I was like, if you got anything, any type of nuts, any type of testicle fortitude, the thing that kind of ticked me off was he was the elder statesman amongst his group, and I would have thought that he would stick the guys under his wing, and and showed them how to play, but I feel like he took a giant steps backwards from the previous year.
Yeah.
As you were saying, I mean, they got so much depth with Eli Ricks.
Yep.
Sidney Brown coming off the injury.
Yeah, Kylie Wong.
Yeah.
Forgot about Kylie. It's like Kylie Wong, and then it's like Sidney Brown's another set. I feel like the safety position is a little bit more solidified now with a little bit more depth too. Because I think they're going to have Cooper DeJean playing a little bit of both.
Right. The only thing that scares me is how do you replace 27 sacks the last 2 years by Hassan Reddick? Who's going to pick up that slack? That's what my main concern is, that defensive line.
Well, I think the young guys in Jalen Carter, Jordan Hicks has got to come on. Milton Williams, I think this is his time. This is his time to truly shine. It's a new coaching staff, so they're not going to be any favorites.
Right.
So if you outplay somebody, I don't think the coach is in position. He don't give a damn about the person being a first round pick. So this is a great opportunity. And then it was an undrafted free agent too. He was killing at the Senior Bowl. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's going to be a monster. And I feel like with the way that Vic Fangio gives multiple fronts,
right,
and given the way we drafted and the people that we brought in, I'll put it this way: if we had a 10th ranked defense last year, what do you think we would have been? Just think of that. He had a 10th ranked defense in his first year in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like It's like so he knows, and I know I've been knowing Vic for a long time. He's one of those. He's a big time. He's got all types of packages. Everybody has a notebook like and it reminds me of double J Jim Johnson. It's
Right,
like
right.
especially with the coordinators that you encounter, you have to know how they play the game and what they're thinking in each and every situation. I think last year that we got into just play calling. Just calling plays and thinking that things were going to be cool, and it was cool at the beginning because we had the talent. But you can't run scrimmage plays in a real situation.
Game. Yeah.
In a real game. Yeah, you can't do that all season long.
So now, based on everything that you just been saying, I take it that you feel that the players that we have now will fit Vic's style of play.
Oh yeah, it's like you. I think that was one of the reasons Hassan Reddick was. Even I love what he did. I think he was kind of expendable because you can't if they know you're a one trick pony and they know you can't cover. Put it this way: the kid that we drafted out of Houston Baptist, whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I know your third round pick.
His name Jackson. Yeah, but he could also cover. He used to play safety. I've seen him in person, and he's not. It's like he's a growing boy. Put it that way. He's like 6'4", 6'5", rangy, like nice build and stuff. And it's like no Diddy, but but when you look at the people that they brought in. It's making they brought the people that could confuse quarterbacks. We couldn't confuse a quarterback last year to save our damn life. Our DBs was running into each other. There was no damn tackling. Now you have a proven defensive coordinator who knows what he wants. And if you're not giving it to him, we got enough talent where your ass will be standing next to him writing down plays.
Hollis, do you see Vic Fangio going to 34 or 43? Or kind of a mixture.
He's gonna have multiple fronts, and it depends on the opponent, and that's what I loved about it. Even it's like when you have a coach that was like when we went to multiple fronts. I was a nose guard, and like most, we had a Okie front when we were playing. I lined up over nose, me, Corey, or West Scholar, and they would play like 3-4 defensive ends, and our defensive ends were skilled enough to play like outside linebacker. They either rush or they were able to drop. So that's what I was saying. They gave him what he needs, some tools that he needed. And then this, I think, the kid, out of Georgia that everybody's talking about, number 3,
Nolan
Smith. I think he should be flourishing in this as well, because you don't make him a one trick pony. It's kind of like this: when you have somebody who's known for just rushing the passer, you know to send the protection to his side because you know he's not dropping for coverage. So you send the protection inside. But if you don't know who's rushing, why do you think the Steelers are so successful with their stuff? Because those outside linebackers, either they were going to rush or they were going to drop. You never knew. And that I for the life of me, and watch when you do scout team when you playing against you have to do help out the scout team when they cut the numbers down, and so you would be playing and you would hear the offensive line counting the down linemen. Because when they would count one of the linebackers as the down lineman, and it was kind of funny because they would always miss somebody because you don't know who that guy is coming. I feel like Vic Fangio is going to give us that where everybody doesn't know exactly what we're doing.
Alice, I have an old school question for you. When you played for Ray Rhodes, Emmett Thomas as your first defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Can you compare Jim Johnson's D compared to Emmett Thomas's?
Pretty much the same thing. If you look, it was pretty much the same. It was Emmett's was a little bit more complicated because he didn't have the personnel that they ended up getting Jim. Right. He had some of it there, but then some people would get hurt, and then like once he got like Bobby and Troy them, man, he was sending the blitz, he would heat them up. It was pretty much the same thing. A lot of people don't know this, that Emmett Thomas, Jim Johnson, Tommy Brazier, they were all the people that came up with the zone blitzes down in Tampa to stop the 49ers. When the 49ers West Coast was killing everybody. He said, I found out that they sat in the room like all night long trying to figure out how to stop this and or at least slow it down. And that's what the zone pressures came in. And he had they pretty much had the same system except for what Jim did was he didn't drop the defensive tackle as much as Emmett did.
I did not know that about Emmett Thomas, Jim Johnson, and Tommy Bruiser.
Yep. What Tommy was telling me about it because he knew Emmett. He was telling me about Emmett. I was like, oh, really? I was like, wow, man. There's the things you don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, learn something new every day.
You want to learn something else new? Tommy Brazier is the one who took Eric Dickinson the $20,000 of cash and a brand new Trans Am in the Pony Express.
Yeah.
he was the SMU coach that dropped it off. I was cracking. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's the way it was back then."
So let me ask you this, Hollis. What kind of improvement do you think Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis need in order to be super successful in this defense?
In this defense, I think they should be looking to become a dominant duo. And then I say that as like Jordan should command the double team. He's got to learn how to not falter because it's hard for a big guy throughout the season when they passing all them damn delicious treats by you and stuff. It's hard for you to keep your weight down. He's going to have to find a balance to do a cardio. Cardio is like I credit Indy Kalu, Derek Burgess, and Hewitt, all of them. Like at a certain point in the season when we weren't getting those sweaty days, they were like, "Come on, big dog, you know we start doing half gases because we knew we was in it for the long haul."
Right.
So it's like you have to find a balance like that because it's not like college because like that's the one thing you have to realize you have to take some team leaders and we would be out there running. If we was running so much that some of the linebackers start coming out there with us and stuff, and it permeates throughout the team, and that's because you want to win, and you don't want to be out there tired of gas because what I know is the backups are cool for like 2 or 3 plays, and that's not a long rest, so you got to be ready. So,
Mike,
yeah, go back to I know you played for some Super Bowl winning coaches. I mean, Andy, Sean Payton, John Fox played for Spags for a year with the Rams. I mean, say just touch on like different philosophy as far as like Andy compared to Sean Payton.
Well, Sean Payton's style was more Bill Parcells style. I got a chance to interview Bill Parcells when I was on 94.1 WIP, and he was actually he knew who I was. That kind of threw me. He knew exactly who I was from when we played because he said he was trying to get me when I was coming out of college, and that was pretty cool. So it's like when Sean Payton and it's kind of like they have a template from the West Coast, like where you go hard early on because in order for you to get your body in shape to play football, you have to actually play football. So the early parts of training camps were rough, and then as the season progressed, they pulled off you a little bit so that you get your legs back and stuff and be ready to battle. All three of the coaches did the exact same thing. The one thing I did love about Sean Payton was that the coaches didn't ride in first class. The older players, we rode in first class.
Right.
Like so, it was like that. It was like really cool but it was like when I got there, I was like, because when you're looking for your seat, you're like, oh, what the hell is my seat? And then it's like, it's like the one thing. The one thing I had some good times with Andy. I don't really mess with him anymore because of some things that transpired later on, and finding out some things and finding out he had to have your best interest at heart. I should have listened to you're right, Mom. I should have listened to my mom. My mom said, "Don't trust him. He's a snake in the grass." And it's some guys won't say anything, and I like to tell the truth of what happened. It was jacked up. It was jacked up what happened between us, and he's never like he tried to smooth it over and stuff, but I'm cool. I was cool on all that. But up until that point, he came in and he taught us how to. He said, the first thing that I noticed about Andy was when he came in, he told us that all of our games are at 1:00 for a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
Our games are at 1:00 because we're getting our ass kicked.
Right.
It's like if you want, and this is back in the day, and that's the one thing too. I don't know if you guys agree with me. You used to have to earn the right to be on prime time.
Right.
Your team
right.
had to be winning. Everybody
Big
wants
time.
to see you. Nobody want to see a loser. Nobody wants to see an
Right.
overrated loser. That's like so as time progressed, and we got with Jim Johnson, and Jim was like he was a realist. He was like the offense is going to take some time to get to catch up. He's like we're going to pretty much have to hold the fort until they catch up with us. He's like, but don't get down on them and stuff because they're going to have to pull your ass out of the fire at some points as well.
Right.
It's like then I think the part for me that was also great, and I was fortunate was that I had the first coach I had was Mike Turkovic. Mike Turkovic, a lot of people don't talk about him. He's a great defensive line coach. He became a coordinator. I don't know what the hell Turco is now, but he was a great coach. He was meticulous, and when I say meticulous, he was a technician, and he didn't try to teach everybody the same. It's like, and that's when you have somebody that knows your strengths and tries to build off your strengths and stuff and try to put you in a position to win. That's what Emmett Thomas and Turco and those defensive coaches that I had early on my first year, and also Ray too, because Ray knew the defense. It was his baby as well. So
right.
then you get the opportunity to play for Jim Johnson and Tommy Brazier, and they molded me, but then Tommy Brazier he got the finished product because he was telling me how to take notes and be meticulous. He said if they do if they start playing you on only first and second down, then you have to get your sacks on first and second down. So
right.
you need to know what makes them throw on second down. And it's like so then he's like so one time I was happened to look at the playbook fully one time. Because going in a lot of times I think players think that you just have to know where to go, but you have to know why you're going that way.
Right.
And then once you learn why you're going that way, you become a better player because you know what you could do. And so that they taught me. Tommy Brazier was one of the best coaches. That taught me different ways of coming across blocks, and it's kind of like it gives you freedom as a player if you know what everybody else is supposed to do. Because I started just learning what every defensive ends. I knew what the defensive ends doing. I knew what Trot was supposed to do. I knew what the Will, knew what the Sam was supposed to do. I knew what Dawkins, and I knew what everybody was supposed to do. And so when you learn what everybody's supposed to do, you learn what you can do.
Right.
It's like on some blitzes that like I may be on the weak side of a blitz, so that means that I don't have to stay like tight to that gap because we got a blitz coming from this way, and so I could beat the crap out of that dude and like take him a little wide, but not too wide. But I could take him wide, or if he's about to block down on me, I can swim and go around him. It's like, cause you see, like when you your stance, and you're in that one technique, and you see the guard barreling down and leaning towards you. You can go around it. It's just stuff like that, and knowing checking out formations. And a lot of people always ask, how do I know when the screen or draw is coming? I was like, just studying the formations that they came from. And they actually gave me the second part of my career because a lot of times the guys last like 3 or 4 years,
right.
And it's because I think they can make that next step of dissecting the game and becoming one with the game.
Al, as far as your beginning of your career, you were an undrafted free agent, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Just for the
undrafted free agent out of Northern Illinois, the University of Northern Illinois, the Huskies. What's up, all you Husky people out there?
What's his name? Was it Mike Lombardi that called you? I mean, when the Eagles signed you, or what?
Mike Lombardi wasn't there. They had done they shot. Well, see, the thing is, I had to choose the Eagles. Being an undrafted free agent, they were wooing me. So Dan Shanka, who was the scout that came and tested me and stuff when I was doing the test before the draft, he called me, and then they put Mike Turkovic on the phone. Then they put Emmett Thomas on the phone, and then they came back with Ray Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit later they came back with Jeff Lurie.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why Jeff Lurie is on standby now when they're doing free agents now. If it's somebody they really want. So it's like no, it was. It's like you pick somebody and you get them to talk to the owner. That lets me know that I'm wanted there.
Right.
And so and you know, it's like, you know, and then it was just like when I talked to Jeff Lurie, then I talked to Ray Rose again, I knew this was the place for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think Brandon Graham's contribution would be? Will it be from the leadership point of view, or will it be from his play this year?
It'll be from his play and his leadership. The one thing you got to look at is the one thing that if you look at, he can play inside and outside.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, I was just talking to him the other day because he took his kid 4-wheeler with one of our esteemed colleagues. But it was like I was just talking to him, and it was just like he's happy. He's in a happy place. And I think this is going to be a really good season for him. Mm-hmm. He's a student of the game, and I feel like he's still got enough speed to play on the outside, but he's big enough that you can put down on the inside, and he can beat some of those guards real quick. In some of the situations, especially in some of the situations that Vic Fangio presents, it's like I think you got to watch some of his film, and then it's like it's pretty much good. It's gonna be real awesome to watch a defense with somebody with the vision, somebody who knows how to call defense, and is not just calling plays and thinking that your system is the end all be all.
Mike.
Hollis was the toughest player you ever played against.
Me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me. I don't. Nobody.
You against you.
Yeah, me. It's like the toughest crap out. You know, it's a. I played against a bunch of Hall of Famers, and they were. I won't say. It's like you have to be on. Guys. You have to pretty much. If you go out there bullshitting, you gonna get your ass whooped, no matter who you playing in front of. So it could be a guy that's it's a reason that guy's in the NFL, because occasionally he kicks some ass. You don't want that ass to be yours. So you have to be on your game at all times.
Mike, let me tell you this real quick story. I told Hollis that he didn't remember it, but back in the day we had this female with us named Lisa, right? And she told Hollis to slap me side my head. And he did not turn around. I said, okay, I'm gonna have to take that slap.
Did this happen on the bus?
It was on the field.
Oh, okay.
It was a good old days, man.
It was a good old days.
Yes, indeed.
That allowed everybody. It was like it's nowadays too many. It's like some slap dicks just ruin the fun for everybody. It's like when you look at it, it's always that those one or two people that ruin the fun for everybody. It's like that's why no player can have anybody on their floor now, because a few jackasses they took it too far.
Yeah.
When Al was driving the bus, was there any wild times? If I guess, like, okay, so like you have to be on the bus. Like with me and Hugh, if he was doing the bus drives when we was doing the rides over to the stadium, when we were up in if he was on the bus with me and Hugh, because we would be singing different songs and stuff, getting ready for the game, getting our mind right. You know, it's like when you paid to play a game that you enjoy playing. It should be fun. A lot of people are like all serious and stuff, and I was like, man, come on, we are about to go out here and play football.
Yeah, Hugh used to get me in trouble quite a bit.
Yeah,
you know, going up to the Giants.
Yep.
And you know, we used to have those big thick bars of candy on the bus.
Yep.
Right.
And Hugh will always go and open up the can of Tracy. Al, don't let nobody get this candy slab to the game. Hugh opened it up. He said, "What happened? You talk to Hugh, don't talk to me."
Yep. And then I don't think you knew this, but they knew that me and Hugh was best of friends. So whatever bus I got on, he got on.
Yeah.
So Andy asked me not to ride his bus no more. He said, because Hugh's going to follow you. I was like, really?
Wasn't there? I remember a time when I guess Hugh was going off on the bus and Andy was all mad, and then Hugh had a hell of a game that same time and stopped saying anything to him.
Well, yeah, but he just that's when they asked me to ride a different bus. That's the time you talk about, because it was quiet. It was quiet on the bus, and so when it's quiet, you feel like people are scared. So he kind of went up. He kind of went off a little bit, telling cats like, basically, what the fuck y'all scared for? I had to go out here and kick some ass. It's like, and groupie love is gonna be in full effect. Nobody wants to spoon with a loser.
Right.
And so I was egging them on. Sorry. It's like chicks dig scars. It's like an egging them on. So like Butch came to me, he said he can't be like that Bundy. That was like, Andy said, could you ride a different bus because Hugh follows you? I was like, oh yeah, so you don't want to go to him and tell him, but you'll come and ask me, huh?
Were you and Hugh like practical jokers, or just like to stir it up?
One practical joke. We joke about what is put before us. So if you came in there looking a mess, we were gonna let you know. All the reporters know. All the reporters knew if they came in there with a jacked up outfit on. Right. Even us as players, I've had a couple of jacked up outfits that I've donned that I'm not too proud. I'm not too proud of, especially the one that I thought it was cool to wear. You remember when Chris Tucker did the Rush Hour 2, the crocodile?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had one of those. Yep. Yeah, your God is right, because they let me have it the entire time.
I had a question that we had Luther Broughton on last week.
Oh, Big Lou.
And question I asked him, unfortunately he wasn't with the Eagles at the time, but the time, man, when George Hageman, when Andy Reid made him on the field with the sleds, were you there? Obviously.
Yeah, I was there. It was pretty funny because they cut him like literally right afterwards, because he left when they put somebody else. I was like, this ain't high school or college. How you just gonna leave? That's your money. He just left when they put somebody else as starter in front of him.
He just couldn't handle the heat, I guess, right?
I guess he couldn't handle. I guess he couldn't handle being not being a starter.
Right.
But then he wanted to come back. He came back and they ran the shit out of him and then cut him. That was mean too. I was like, well, just cut me and I'm not coming back and running all that stuff. So,
all right, well, listen, before you get out of here, I don't know how much time you got left to do this, but a couple of questions I want to ask you. Do you think the absence of Jason and Fletcher is going to have a major effect, or would the guys that we have be able to pick up?
I think the guys will be able to pick up. It won't be the same. So, because you can't ask Cam Jurgens to be Jason Kelce.
Right. It's only one.
It's only one Jason Kelce, and it's only one Fletcher Cox. You can't ask Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter to be Fletcher. You have to be the best woman themselves. Right. I think they were there long enough to absorb some of his knowledge and some of his leadership abilities, and not be forced into a situation where you're the predecessor of a legend. I mean, they both were all-time greats. I was they weren't there to where they will be overshadowed by those guys. If you understand, because Cam was handpicked by Kelce himself. It's like, so when you look at that and you look at Fletch, I knew it was going to be time to go, because in talking to him, he was hurting pretty bad. He wanted to try to make another run to get him another ring. So and I couldn't fault him for that. You know, and he knew it was time. So. Right. But I don't think those guys will have a problem taking the next step, because it's their team now.
Right. Absolutely.
House, when we were talking off air, we were, mentioning about you and Irving Fryer doing the show. Can you dive in a little bit with the audience just to touch on that?
Well, we have a show called Vetted. We used to do a podcast called Vetted. Now it's going to be a TV show that's going to be on Roku. We're actually having a launch party at First Energy Stadium. You could go to phillysportstrips.com. And if you want to buy a ticket, phillysportstrips.com and go to events. And you'll go down and you'll see Vetted launch party. The show is called Vetted, mainly because both of us played at Veterans Stadium and we're veterans of the game. What you will be seeing is a lot of we get into a lot of different subjects, but it's mostly about the birds because it's all about the birds. And I'm slowly but surely getting into the rest of the sports because I do Philly Sports Trips, and we not only do we do bird strips, but we do Philly strips, we do Flyers, Sixers, and we're the official travel team for our Philadelphia Union. I'm actually the ambassador for Philly Sports Trips. So,
right.
But the launch party is at first. We also on July the 9th we're throwing out the first pitch at the Fighting Fields Reading Fighting Fields game on July the 9th. So be there or be square. Get your tickets. We're gonna be in that piece like a munjon. It's gonna be, and actually we're doing we're doing the show at you guys probably want to come down to Reading. It's a guy Barry. I don't know if you guys know Barry who owns has a place called the Locker Room.
Okay.
And he added 50 yards on. He added 50 yards, and this was funny as hell. His wife Dawn came home one day. It was supposed to just be 50 yards. And it is 50 yards, but his wife came home one day and she was wondering why the markers were way down there because he was trying to make it 100 yards, and she's like, no, they're supposed to be right here. So it's 50 yards of pure eagle heaven, man. Put it this way, it's so much of an eagle heaven that in the bathroom there's a Dallas Star in the commode.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we love here in Philly.
Yes. So it's like it's going to be great. We're going to be doing it up and ready because I think with the way training camp goes now, a lot of the smaller towns who are Philly fans, like we used to be up at Lehigh, all those a lot of people used to create their vacations around our training camp. Yeah. And it's like, and now that's no more. You get it's like it's too, and it hurts I think it hurts the players too because you don't really get to see what Philadelphia is all about. When you're up there training camp and they're out there before you get there, when you leave, and then you see them around town and stuff, dude, that goes a long way.
I used to go up for the 2 days, pack a cooler, get a couple of hoagies.
Yep. And it's like it's a thing that you take for granted. You take for granted as a player, especially when you hear some of the guys talking all the extracurricular crap. They don't. I since I've been retired, I've realized how much the fan goes through.
You see.
Well, one thing about it, we got some great fans. We got some very knowledgeable fans, and they love you when they love you, and they hate you when they hate you.
Yeah. Well, the only way that they hate you if you're stinking up the joint.
Yeah.
And you act like a Cowboys player, like you're entitled.
Right. And we'll let you know when you stink up the joint.
Oh yes.
No questions asked there.
I
know you know firsthand.
I know firsthand. It's like were you stinking up the joint, or were you not hustling? Whoa, man. So
earn that paycheck.
Earn your keep.
That's it.
Okay, before you get out of here, Hollis, I got one last question. What are your thoughts on Cooper DeJean and Quentin Mitchell?
Oh, well, we got the top 2 cornerbacks. I feel like they're day one starters. I mean, when you look at their resume, their athletic ability, and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to get, I feel like that's why you think that they move. Bradbury to
right, exactly.
They want 2 real corners out there. And since Slay is coming back from injury, I think he's going to be better. That was the one thing last year that you had to know. Once Slay went and did that surgery, you knew there was something up with the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Now, how proud were you of seeing one of your mate's son get drafted?
Oh, that was great, dude. I've been knowing him since he was a young buck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, and that was like when watching it, I was like, man, they still do the Axeman and everything.
Yeah,
The one, but the one that everybody's gonna have to be on the lookout for is Josiah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He looks just like Trot. He's built just like Trot was.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God.
Yeah, I
But
remember those.
the coolest thing in watching that was just remember him as a little kid.
Yes,
And
yes.
then there's like so a few years back, we had a charity game, and Trot brought both him and Josiah to the charity game, but we didn't have enough players. And so I looked at Trot and say, "What are we gonna do?" He said, "Don't worry, the boys will take care of them." Man, them junkers was out there like handling business.
I hear you.
I got one last question.
Okay.
What's the Eagles' record this year? Or you got to get back to us on that.
I feel like 11 or 12 wins. I feel like they get 11 or 12 wins. I mean, I think it's going to be a bit of a when you have they're going to get a bit of a slow start. They're going to start strong and finish up fast. But I finish up hard and fast. But I think they'll get a nice 12 victories.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you on the trip to Brazil? Y'all got to have a trip going there?
We have a trip going to Brazil, but Irvin is going.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure Vince is going too, right?
Vince is definitely going. Yes, he's going. Yeah.
Well, listen, the next time you talk to your partner, Irvin, put in a good plug for us, man, because I need to get him on now. Okay.
Okay. All right. Most definitely, I will do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Cool.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much, Hollis, for coming on. Everybody, this has been the Hollis the Tank Thomas, formerly D tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you so much, brother.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
All right.
Have a good night. Have a good 4th.
You too.
All right, man. All right.
All right. Later.
All
right, man. That was pretty good, man.
It was.
Yeah.
Chopping it up with a big tank, number 78.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I forgot to ask him because when he was talking about he was something with the union, because the young lady we're gonna have on next week, Renee Washington, she's does something for them as well.
Right, Renee. Yeah, Renee. She, Hall of Fame soccer player. She actually works for PHLY Sports. It's owned by Anthony Gargano. And, she's worked at ESPN. She's worked for quite a few conglomerates. Because
I think also the MSG network too, I believe.
Yeah, she's also a model. She's also public speaking. She, has all avenues covered.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get her. Was trying to get her on, my other show, but her schedule's just so. Luckily, reached out, and we're going to have Renee on the 17th. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that, and I appreciate all your help and getting people that you're getting, and we're just getting started at the 50 with Fuji and Fleet. Training camp hasn't even started yet, and we've had this is our 3rd show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
I hope later on in the month.
Yes,
right around when training camp kicks off.
Absolutely. I think that's a week before training camp.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to seeing what Ray has because, like you said before, we call him the Godfather of football. He's also an author with so many different books out. I think one of his books called Philadelphia Eagles Encyclopedia, something of that nature.
Actually, have a copy of it. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's 20 days till training camp, so 3 weeks yesterday. It's like I said during the promo earlier. I don't want to rush anybody's summer, but it's training camp's going to be here before you know it.
Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, and I think the first open practice is August the 1st, I believe.
Yes, it is on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'll be down there or.
Yeah, because I'd be taking a team, man. Because even though it's just a block away, we busing from the NovaCare to the link there.
Was that I mean, back to what, when we had Hollis on, was there a lot of practical joking going on back in the day on those buses?
Well, not so much on the bus, because like I said when I was on your show,
right.
Especially after a game, these guys come on the bus, they put their earphones on and decompress, and you really don't hear a whole lot out of them. But now, let's say take this open practice, for instance. They get on the bus at the NovaCare, they ride 2 blocks to the link. A lot of time after practice coming back, you hear a lot of stuff going on the bus, singing and rapping and all that stuff. But on game days and after games, no, you don't hear none of that. You don't hear none of it at all. I remember several years ago, you remember when Deshaun Jackson ran that punt return back up at the Giants?
Yes, sir. Quite well.
And I mean, coming out of the locker room, coming to the bus, everybody was jumping, high-fiving and stuff. As soon as they get on that bus, all that goes away. You're just sitting quiet, make that ride back down the turnpike.
Kind of surprised, because I remember I was at Chicky and Pete's watching that game.
Mm-hmm.
And they, basically everybody it was around Christmas time, late sometime in December.
Right.
A lot of people left out. The mood was just lying, and all of a sudden, the Eagles.
Yeah, because we was down like about 3 touchdowns, I believe.
Like they were down like 31 something, and
yeah.
Michael Vick scored and then threw a touchdown to Brent Selleck. Before you know it, I think Macklin scored.
Yeah, Macklin scored.
And they were down, and I forget. Was Dodge the punter? I forget, but Coughlin, I think told him to kick the ball out of bounds with the time.
Yeah.
As much time on the clock, and then just Deshaun just ran it back, and the whole place just went crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a Christmas gift for the Eagles fans after Miracle at the Meadowlands #2.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm kind of shocked. Like the bus would be kind of quiet, because I mean, I'm sure that those guys played their hearts out after.
Yeah.
I'm sure the adrenaline was going, and just the divisional win, especially against one of your biggest, bigger rivals with the Giants over the years. So.
Yeah, but it's like I was saying before, they spend so much energy out there,
right.
Emotional, physically, and no matter what that adrenaline is, once they get into that locker room, it begins to come down little by little by little.
Right.
Then they get on the bus, put their earphones on, whatever music they listen to. Then they come back to, I guess I would say, earthhood.
Right. Reality.
Out there, they beyond it.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got what is next week? Do we have anything next week?
The 17th we have.
Okay, the 17th is the next one, Renee. And then the week after that is Ray Dittinger. And hopefully I can get Mike on. I definitely want to get Mike before the season starts, because once the season starts, him and Merle, their week is cut out and studying and doing all this stuff. So I keep working on that.
As far as last night, I got in touch with Dave Spadaro, so that's possibly August 7th.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, with that now, I'm going to tell you one thing about Dave. It's going to be very informative. He's going to have a lot of information, because one of his pet peeve is to put out information. Anything about the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to get it out there. Right. And I'm so glad that he, is going to come on our show and give us some juice for us to put out there on top of what he's putting out there. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
I've had the opportunity to interview Dave twice. Very informative, very down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
But he don't sugarcoat it.
No, not
right
at all.
Out there.
Not at all. Yeah, I had him on last year on my show, and it was very good. I enjoyed it, and so I'm looking forward to it again.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, figure when we're back in 2 weeks, I mean, it'll just about to be training camp kicking
Yes,
off
sir.
in high gear. So,
Yeah. So, all right. This was a wonderful, wonderful show. Appreciate you as always. Appreciate Hollis.
same here.
And so, like you said, we're not here next week, but on the 17th, we'll be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to At the 50 with Fuji and Fleet. That is Mike Fuji. I am Noah Fleet. So, thank you so much for listening to us. Appreciate it, my brother.
You're welcome. Like, everybody, have a good 4th of July. Be safe.
All right. You as well, man. Talk to you tomorrow. All right.
Sir. Have a good night, everyone.